YouTube, what the crap's going on? Patch 9's going on, that's what's going on. It is the crap that's going on. Except that it's not crap, it's actually really exciting. So, I don't even know where to start, like to tell you all the amazing changes that have taken place. First off, go to Google, type in Rome 2 Wiki. And pretty much the first site it pulls up is the Total War Wiki. Go in there, and then if you're on the Rome 2 one, there's an area that says Patch Notes. If you click on that, then you'll find the one that says Patch 9. Click on the link to Patch 9. It'll run you through all the details. I'll try and put a link to it in the video description. Check it out. There's a huge number of changes. I don't have them printed off, so I can't exactly just walk through them with you all. But I want to point out some very important changes that look like they're going to be made in Patch 9. Now, of course, right now it's still in a beta form, so if you want to participate in the games library of Steam, you have to right-click on Rome 2, go into Properties, and then in the tabs there's one that says Betas, and then there's a drop-down menu you have to pick to select Patch 9 Beta, and if you opt in, it'll download the update and you can give Patch 9 a try. Keep in mind, if you're working on Patch 9 Beta, you're not going to be able to play in multiplayer against people who are just using Patch 8.1 or whatever it was that was before that. I suggest you try Patch 9. This is not the same Rome Total War you've been playing for the last couple of months. This is a game changer, and it's exciting. It's a game changer in campaign, and it's a game changer in multiplayer. And they've refined some AI campaign stuff, supposedly. I haven't even gotten a chance to test that. The biggest thing that I've been testing is the new unit traits and characteristics and stats. They did a huge workover on the units, and it's really neat because I'm already having the feeling from this game that units now play a whole lot more rock, paper, scissors type role like they did in Shogun 2. Units have more of a purpose on the battlefield. Now, the one piece of bad news I'll go ahead and give you right up front is that pikes were already bad, and they're probably even worse after this patch. Pikes are worthless. They can stop chariots and elephants now. That's good. And they can kind of hold units off, but they should have made pikes a little bit stronger, or at least a little more impenetrable from the front. They don't even necessarily have to make them stronger, but they're just as easy to break through the front of pikes right now, and they even lowered the melee attack of pikes and raised the cost. So it really doesn't make any sense. Some pike units got a cost raise, sorry, not all. Pikes are still pretty worthless unless you just really want to discourage a frontal attack, which doesn't make sense, because I can take a unit like this Libyan Infantry, it will cut through the front of this African pikeman, period. End of story. So that's the last thing that I wish they would do. So let me cover a few things. Basically, any unit with an aura, and when I say aura, I mean if you click on a unit and you go down here to its characteristics, and one of its things is encourage, this right here, says this unit provides a morale bonus to nearby allies. Anything with this encourage trait, the cost went up substantially. And one of the ones you can see already is Noble Cav, which used to cost like $8.50, is now all the way up to $11.50. Also, you'll notice that they added in, and I think this was there before, but they've tweaked some of the stats with it, so we don't know what they were before, so there's no hard data, but I think this was here. Like, for instance, you'll notice it says bonus versus large, and when I tooltip over it, it says the melee bonus this unit receives when fighting against cavalry and elephants. So, Shot Cav we already knew kind of had a bonus versus Cav. We didn't really know it had a bonus versus elephants, but some people used it to stop elephants. In any case, this unit has a purpose now. This is an anti-Cav unit, and it can deliver a large charge bonus, so in that sense it could be good against infantry, but you'll see in a prolonged melee this unit doesn't provide any bonus versus infantry. It's a bonus versus Cav and elephants. And again, this stat may have always been there, but we don't know what it was because it wasn't showing. So that's one big change. Any unit with the encourage ability is going to cost a lot more. The other big change is that cheap infantry is now even cheaper. These mercenary Iberian swordsmen were like 4 something each, now they're 320, plus they're a little better. They've increased their stats a little bit, and you'll notice that these guys actually have a bonus versus infantry. Not much of one, but they have it. So this is an anti-infantry unit, and it's cheap, meaning that you can bring large numbers of them for relatively low cost. You'll notice that this unit right here is actually a little less than half the cost of a Libyan infantry, so I could bring 2 of these Iberian swordsmen for the cost of 1 Libyan. These Gallic warriors, they didn't change the price of these guys much, but they did increase their weapon damage. It's much higher now. And this unit has a pretty sturdy charge bonus and defense. Anyway, these cheaper units now are meant to be able to counter, and take a look at this Sacred Band, for instance. Way more expensive because it has that discipline thing. Now, unfortunately, this is still not a fantastic unit, though it is better. And it's interesting. Let's take a look at some Roman units so you can get an idea of what's going on here. So in the Roman units, you can see, number one, they've repriced the upper echelons of these Roman infantry. So these Evocati cohort, they have a really high attack, but you'll notice that they've really tweaked the weapon damage. It's way down from where it used to be. This used to be like almost 50 or something for the weapon damage, or 40 something. I don't remember what it was. It was way higher. And their melee attack was still high also, so they've nerfed the weapon damage. So this unit still has a blistering attack, but its weapon damage has been nerfed substantially. So the Romans still have a ton of sturdy, fairly affordable infantry, but you'll notice again, the Eagle cohort, for instance, which has the discipline, rather than just making this unit keep its stats and be more expensive, or not discipline, sorry, encourage. So the Eagle cohort and the first cohort both have the encourage aura. These units used to be relatively cheap and have the aura. Well, what they did was they cut their melee attack stats since they have aura encourage. So now it's kind of balanced the cost. So you're getting encourage, but the Legionnaire itself isn't as potent as, say, like this Evocati cohort, which doesn't have the encourage ability but has a bigger attack. So you could tank up on Evocati cohorts, but your morale isn't going to be quite as bolstered as it would be. Now remember, Praetorians and Praetorian Guard especially, look at the cost on these guys. 1,300 talents for Praetorian Guard, whereas I think it was 9. I think it was 9 even. Maybe 950, I don't remember, but these guys have gone up in cost substantially. So you can't spam these guys like you used to. I could bring like a whole stack of the, sorry, let me put on, you can spam them if you're in like the million credit funds like I am. So let's go to a large funds battle. I'll reset this and show you. It's like, for instance, if I want to spam Praetorian Guard now, that's the extent of it. I can bring 9, which, don't get me wrong, that's still pretty strong. It's a lot of Praetorian Guard. But for the same cost, I mean, I can come over here as Carthage. I can bring a whole bunch of these late Libyan hoplites, which can just kind of stand to hold this front of Praetorians. I can spam out some Cretan archers here, get a whole bunch of them. And these guys are damaging, and then I can sit here and throw in a couple of elephants. I can throw in more elephants. I can throw in cav, and then I could even throw in more infantry if I want. I can throw in some Libyan. So you're getting the idea here. The idea is basically that I can sit here and cram in enormous amounts. So see, look, I can bring a 20 stack of Carthaginian troops to face off against. I can't even really just bring 9 Praetorians. I'm going to have to cut 1 to get a general. So you're really having to pay for these expensive units. And don't get me wrong, these expensive units, they are tanks. They're kind of like heroes from Shogun 2 in some ways, except there's no matchlocks to shoot them with, unfortunately. These guys are strong. 68 attack and 39 damage. This is a bruising unit of infantry. But I love what CA has done here. Thank you, CA. This is fantastic. Such a good move, because now someone's going to have to think, do I really just want to bring all these expensive units? Here's another thing. If this guy's going to bring all these expensive units, and I know that they might bring expensive units, Scorpions, cheap as dirt, long range. I can bring them and shoot these guys down from long range. So there's things that start to counter too, and these expensive units will be getting trampled by elephants, and they can be held up for longer. Battles now take longer because they've tweaked the way the melee works. It's really fantastic. I mean, again, if you all haven't played Rome 2 in a while and you've been one of those people that's like, this game sucks, it's terrible, they ruined it. Well, first of all, I never agreed with you in the first place. Did it have issues? Absolutely it had issues, but I'm telling you, this is a game changer, so go check it out. And this is definitely something that you want to go see. It completely changed the way the game's going to play. So I'm excited about it. It is still a beta, so keep that in mind. It's not perfect. They're still tweaking it, so this is that time for you to test it. And if it doesn't work right, go onto the forums, the Total War forums, and you have a chance to tell them before it gets released. It's something we can do to help the game. I do want to do a little bit of a battle demonstration, and I'm going to demonstrate just this. I'm going to bring some these 4 Praetorians, and let's notice the cost here. So there's 6,070 left, so I'm going to make sure that I kind of try and match that same amount of funds and show you how it allows someone to bring these elite units if they want, but it allows you to match them with the versatility of cheaper units if you so choose. So I'm going to get 4 of these late Libyans. I'm going to get a few Cretan archers. Remember, it was 6,070 left, so I can still get 2,000 plus Koku worth of, or not Koku, I'm still thinking Shogun too. Talents worth of stuff here. I can still get one more good unit in here too. Carthaginian Cav. And I still have some money left over for some upgrades, so there we go. Okay, there we go. 60, 70, 60, 70. And I could theoretically get even more units on here if I hadn't gotten 2 elephants. But I just want to show you all the diversity that this gives me at this point. So just to make things equal, I'm going to take a commander gen. AI is going to take a commander gen. We're on flat ground. I've got Rome set as the attacker just because the AI might just sit in the back. I just want to give you all a demonstration. This is AI. The AI is kind of weird, so it's not going to be super conclusive, but it will demonstrate. It'll demonstrate my point. AI or not, it's hard for you to counter the fact that I have 11 units and you have 5, because at some point you can't protect all your flanks. So this is just, again, this is a fantastic demonstration of how I can now counter extreme quality with quantity if I so choose. It doesn't mean you're going to be successful every time, but it means you can try it. And it's something that I'm extremely excited for. It's the way that we're used to Total War games being, and it's something that really was needed in Rome 2. One other thing I need to mention that's a huge change that you all should be aware of. I used to tell you never, never, never use formation attack. So that has changed. You should use formation attack if you want your units to last longer. So when you look at the patch notes, we don't get specific information about what formation attack does, and when you hover over it, the tooltip doesn't give you any specific benefits. But when you read the patch notes, they said that they've basically made formation attack to where your men have a stronger attack when they're in formation attack, and they keep their formation. So there are some benefits to being in formation attack, and I would recommend that if you have a unit that has it, that you not take them out of it, because from what I've seen so far, it is beneficial. I haven't gotten to finish testing it. The one downside that we know of to formation attack is that when they charge, it is said in the patch notes that a charge of units in formation attack will not be, it won't penetrate as deep as the charge of a unit that's not in formation attack. So the barbarians probably still have that advantage on the charge, which is the way that I think it's supposed to be with them. Let's go ahead and start this battle. I'll march it forward. Anyway, those are the big major changes. There's a ton of major changes, actually. There's campaign changes, there's performance changes, there's all kinds of changes. So again, I really recommend that you go to Total War Rome 2 Wiki. If you go to Google and just type in Rome 2 Wiki, that's how I always find it. You can add it to your favorites. It's a great way to keep up with the patch notes. So I'm just going to march my troops forward, get in position to start unloading with my missile troops. And again, I'm going to demonstrate, and I may not even be doing this the best, but I'm going to give you all the best demonstration that I can of how this diversity of units can be quite useful, as opposed to just spamming elite units, which is pretty much what this game was before this, or spamming elephants and chariots. And I can show you some of those too here in a minute. Okay, I'm going to unload some heavy shot. So see, these Praetorians, they're going to have to get within range to attack my infantry first of all. And my guys are going to have plenty of time to open fire here. I got heavy shot and quick reload on, so my guys are going to be causing as much damage as possible. I can disrupt their charge with my cav and try and get even more shots. The AI has been programmed to brace for charges better, so watch this. Check it out. AI is actually bracing for a charge. But I can use that as a strategy here to fake them out and get more shots. So see, my skirmishers picking apart these Praetorians, hurting their hit points, softening them up so that eventually I can have a chance at success. Just gonna pull my archers back to safety. See how quickly the enemy general gets stopped on my Libyan hoplites. Of course, the general's not a very powerful charging unit, but still demonstrating that you can stop these guys. I'm going to use my Carthaginian cav to fix these Praetorians. So see, watch, the AI is going to brace against this unit of cav, and it's pretty effective. It'll pretty much stop their charge, because they've changed some of the weights of certain units too. Elephants are one of them. But see, my Carthaginian cav actually has a bonus versus infantry.
Our general is under attack.
I can use all this opportunity to, again, I can split up and outflank the enemy. So see, look, I can go into surrounding maneuvers. I've got these archers firing into the open flank of these Praetorians. And see, over here I've got the elephants into these Praetorians and the general, and causing a lot of damage there between my Carthaginian cav. The Romans brace for that, but see, again, you brought a very expensive Praetorian guard unit, and it is susceptible to certain units. It doesn't have a bonus versus large like hoplites. So again, the rock, paper, scissors. This Praetorian unit's going to be extremely good versus infantry and not so good against cavalry. Or not as good against cavalry, I should say. It'll still do just fine. But again, the amount and variety of troops that I can bring plays a difference. They've also tweaked the price a little bit on archers and slingers. Check it out. Again, I have more units than the Romans. Pound for pound, this Roman unit's much better than my own. But I've now got them surrounded, so they have to fight out of a surrounding maneuver. So I'm just really, I couldn't be more thrilled with what CA's done here. It really is fantastic. Elephants are still quite strong. They do have, though, if you look at the patch notes, they have less mass, so they're not going to be quite as unstoppable on a charge, and the chariots also have decreased mass, so again, not quite unstoppable on the charge, but they're going to be still very good against infantry.
This is a shameful display.
Spearmen ready for order.
So anyway, I'm just going to command my troops to try and finish off the rest of this battle. Check it out. Enemy general just took a couple of arrows there from my Cretans. Cretans cutting down that cav, that's awesome. Then my general just whacked what was left of this Praetorian unit over here. So, man, this is fantastic. Like I said, I mean, I am so thrilled at what CA did here. The game is completely different. The days of spam elite appears to be over. I'm not saying that yet for sure because, I mean, we don't know what the new meta game is yet. We don't know what the new build of choice is going to be, and who knows, but maybe it'll annoy us more than anything else. But essentially, from the outset, the signs of improvement are in this patch, at least in my mind. When think about battles now, they're completely different. Certain factions, for instance, like Athens, that wasn't necessarily very good because their infantry was just terrible. Well, now their sword unit isn't good, but it's not as bad as it was. Their hoplites can hold longer. And these mercenary veteran hoplites, these guys are going to be beastly for the cost right there. And then they've still got pikes if they want it. They've got access to all of these cheap archer units, these Thracian peltists. They have some of the cheapest, most effective shock cav in the game now. These Hippeus Lancers are really good, so it changes the balance of all of these factions, and I'm really excited about that. Another couple of interesting things to point out. Some people might be saying, well, heck, man, these expensive cav units, that's going to ruin Parthia and what were the other ones? The Nomad factions. Well, if you look, again, the units with the Encourage ability are expensive, like these Royal Cataphracts, but the price of these Eastern Cataphracts hasn't really changed much. So Parthia's still got some serious punching power here. So they still retain that kind of feel that they should have. It's very interesting to me. Again, very thrilled about what they've done here. And if we take a look at the... I do think the Nomad factions are going to take a bit of a hit here because they really rely on these cataphracts and the Saka cataphracts, and they're expensive. So you're going to have to get more skirmish units as a Nomad if you're going to have any hope to taking these people out, which is risky business. So I'm not sure how the Nomad factions are going to fare, but everything else is just really interesting. You take a look at all these factions, Galatia, all of a sudden these Galatian legionnaires who went from being completely stinky are pretty dang good. And they have just very interesting units here. And naked swords. The bonus versus infantry is 20. That's twice what it is on normal stuff. Solid charge bonus. So these guys are shock infantry. They're the Nodachi, basically, of this game. Of course, not quite as strong as Nodachi, but I think you all get where I'm going with it. So, just, man, like I said, I'm absolutely thrilled. Absolutely thrilled. And I want to end this by showing you one of my favorite things. about this patch update. And I keep showing you stuff with Carthage, but check it out. This is a 300 talent unit. But look at the bonus versus large. So Carthage has a unique ability here that I haven't found with the other factions yet. They have extremely cheap hoplite units that both have 25 bonus versus large, which is much better than the 20 bonus that I've seen on the other factions. So check this out. I'm just gonna bring some cheap late Libyan hoplites. These guys aren't very good in terms of stats and everything. They're pretty crummy actually. And then if I put the Seleucids here as my opponent, and they are on attacker, so they'll come attack me. Again, this is the AI. They don't always get their charges right and stuff like that, so it's not a perfect test, but I just want to show you. Chariots used to just plow through anything. Anything. It didn't matter if they were in hoplite wall or whatever. And I may lose this battle, but I just want to show you how much more resistant these hoplites are than they used to be. I'm going to add in just so in previous patches this would have been a guaranteed win for the Seleucids. They've got one less unit than me, but I mean these units would have just trampled all over this crappy army. So let me show you this. This is really cool. If I put these guys in a brace position in hoplite wall, which I can because these, the people I'm fighting are the attackers, I don't think they're going to penetrate. And it's because they've changed the mechanics of the game. These units now have less mass, and a spear wall actually means something now, which is pretty fantastic. So I'm going to put these guys in pretty thick ranks. Basically just make me a little noob box here. Won't even be a very good looking one at that, but yeah, so there. Got me a nice little noob box. Start the battle. I just put my guys into a hoplite wall, and again, hoplite wall adds a shield bonus and bracing and melee defense, so this means my guys have the maximum bracing and melee defense. It is a cool looking formation. I kind of wish the guys would hold their spears up over shoulder though. That'd be cooler looking still. Let me just show you this. And I'm not encouraging spear boxing. I'm just saying that there was no defense against this kind of army previous to this patch. It didn't matter if you were... I mean, you might be able to stop it if you had a pike box, but the pikes could probably stop the elephants, but chariots could just plow right through the front of pikes. There was no stopping it. So let me just show you this. I didn't realize there was archers on top of these elephants. I always thought they were javelin men. So here we go. Those are Indian armored elephants, and look, they actually get stopped on the front of my my Libyans. Now, a few of them broke through where there's a little gaps and stuff here, but look at how much more stopping power there is there.
The men are wavering.
Now again, I don't expect my guys to do fantastic. If some of them die, that's fine, because these units cost twice or 4 times as much, but look that they can make a stop here. See how they don't just plow right through my units? The elephants themselves still very powerful, not trying to make that argument, but look at the chariots here. They got stopped on the front of this. They can't just pull through. And you can imagine that if these elephants had gotten us stopped as long as they did here, I would have had javelins to back these guys up and cause the damage. So I just think this is interesting how they have changed this. And now, of course, now that the chain route's going, my guys are just going to go. But just wanted to demonstrate that the bracing mechanic there has been changed. I spent a lot more money on that army than I did on mine, so I wasn't sitting there trying to prove it that it would win. Again, I'm hoping that you gathered out of that my men actually stopped their charge. They didn't just plow right through the front of my men and run them over. So it's just a demonstration to show you. In the past, someone could have taken chariots, just plowed right through your front line and run down your skirmishers. They can't do that anymore. You're going to be able to keep those javelins behind your line, and if their units get stuck for a second trying to get through, you're going to have time to get off a couple of good volleys of javelins, and you can put those elephants down. So very thrilled about these changes. I hope you all go check it out. I'm excited to show you the changes in campaign too, so stay tuned. I'm going to try my current campaigns in this patch 9 beta, and hopefully all the changes patch forward fairly well. And if it does, it should change the way these campaigns are going to play. It ought to be a lot of fun. Anyway, HeirofCarthage signing off for now.